Hey, you friends. Hope y'all guys are doing well out there. It's been a really good day here. Kind of mellow. Heavily overcast. Kind of still has that chill in the air. Says that winter should be here pretty soon. And as you can tell by the beginning of this video, I've got the heaters on. It feels good too. So I figured I'd do a quick video. I wasn't sure what I wanted to go over. I was trying to do one last night that I could put out today. It just didn't work out. Now I've got to thank one of my friends out there who left a comment about how to fix the problem of where my GoPro stores the files when the video runs over 8 minutes. That's the reason in some of my earlier videos here recently, I've had to turn the camera off and then turn it back on. So I think I have that fixed, and my friend who left the comment fixed it for me with their intelligent suggestion and by looking into the subject for me. I really appreciate that. Also, y'all guys really rock. Thank you so much for all of the great feedback and all the comments. All the ways that y'all guys have related back your own experiences and the subjects we're talking about, tools, techniques, lifestyle, stuff like that. Also, a big thanks to all of my new subscribers. When y'all guys subscribe, it helps boost my channel. It helps me provide for myself as well as get this kind of information out to more people. And that's kind of my mission. But, well, I don't want to go into a big whole long thing. The show that I used to be on gave me the ability to reach out to a whole bunch of people. The falling down lifestyle that I found myself in that destroyed basically my existence at the time gave me the necessity to grow and change. In growing and changing, I found a lot of good tools and techniques for a happier, healthier life and better interactions with the people in the world around me. So being able to mix those two together and give those tools to others is really my life's mission. And every time that y'all guys subscribe or like or share, it just furthers my goal basically. And what I really think's cool is y'all guys supporting in the goal. It's like dumping your energy to make a positive change in the world in there as well. And when we all get in there, that's where change actually happens, you know, personal growth. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to cover too real fast. Thank you guys again for building up my self-esteem and feelings of acceptance for myself. I really appreciate all of the outside validation. A lot of y'all guys have commented on a previous video of mine saying that it's acceptable and okay that saying every now and then in my videos isn't something that I really need to focus on changing. And I really appreciate your acceptance. So the reason that I brought that issue to light is because it kind of reflects a big part of what I'm about in positive improvement. So if I see something in my character that I would like to change or tweak, like if I had a slumpy posture, I wanted to have better posture, that would be an improvement in the way that I want to be and present myself. So where it is okay and acceptable and maybe just the way that a person would talk, I seek to kind of guide myself away from saying the words so much. So for anybody that hasn't seen, on a previous video, I addressed how every now and then I'll say, I'll be talking about this and then I'll say something about that and so I just didn't like that. And I've done a lot of changing in my life with things in my lifestyle that I'm not a big fan of. So I like to be able to apply that to even the little critiques and everything. Also, I think it's cool because it has a real kind of metaphor for all of the self-growth and stuff that I do and that I talk about and all, and that y'all guys share with me as well, because we're all kind of into this, you know? So with all that said and clear, there were a couple things I wanted to talk about. The video I was going to do last night was about habits and routines and how they can turn into instinct. And then the one that I wanted to do today, that's why I have all the colored pencils here, was about early sobriety and the benefits of getting sober and the way that it changes our life by changing the chemicals in our bodies and stuff, and also how that can relate not just to sobriety, also to big life changes and improvements for individuals. Because the same thing that I can reckon there, I can also put off to like eating right, sleeping right, having positive habits. And when I say eating right and sleeping right, I'm not pushing anything. I have no... Eating right for me is a completely different subject than a lot of people and a lot of books that I've read recently. So I guess tonight I'll just talk about habit and instinct, and then I'll figure out a way to maybe mix the two together if it works out that way. Okay. In recovery, there's an example, and it goes like this. Well, how to start? Okay, if my house is here and my car is here and the lawn, all the grass is in between those. If I'm gonna walk from my house to my car and drive away, then eventually, through time of doing that back and forth, my habit, my routine of walking to the car will etch a trail through the grass. The grass will start to die first. Well, first it'll discolor because it's all getting crunched. Then the grass will die. Then the grass will kind of blow away and there'll be dirt. And then the dirt will start getting etched down as I walk in it. And then there's a really well-defined path. That kind of is my example of how a habit can become a routine, and then the routine can become an instinct. Instincts, the way I think about them, are really hardwired. They're kind of in our genetics and our very soul core of who we are. For instance, a startled reflex. If somebody is a fight or if they're a flight, sneak up on them and go boo. They'll either run away or they'll punch you, right? That is my understanding, the etched instinctive response. What this video is about is the way that I've been able to change that instinctive response through repetition and conscious awareness of those instincts and changing what I do in those moments. So, and that's a big part of the philosophy I read. I mean, this stuff has been written about for thousands and thousands of years. So what happens is, after that trail is etched to the car, maybe I want to make a new trail. Let's say I want to make a new trail that goes this way instead and then goes to the car. But the car has to stay parked in the same spot. It'd be easier if I just move the car forward, 5-6 feet. My instincts would be to go to the straightest line to the car, and that would help etch out a new trail. In this case, though, we can't do that because it's hard-rooted and the car has to stay where it is. And the pre-existing path, that first trail, is the shortest way to get there. So we've decided that we're going to etch a new trail. So all we have to do in order to do that is change the routine and change our habits. I don't know if habit in here works as well as routine, because the routine of walking the trail. So when we walk out the door, we think to ourselves consciously, oh, I'm not walking down the old trail anymore. I'm walking down the new trail. So we make that choice and we walk down the new trail. As we do this and time passes and passes and passes, that trail, well, the grass, first it gets discolored from walking on, then it dies from being walked on, then it blows away, then there's dirt on that trail, and then the dirt starts getting etched away from walking on that, and we've got a pretty well-worn pathway. That's the way it will roll, the way it should roll. The first path, though, while we are walking the new path, the old path has to grow over with grass. It has to get covered over. And every time we walk out that door, while the old path still exists even just a little bit, we'll still have to remind ourselves, oh, wait, I'm still walking the new path. It'll be a lot easier. It's just we still have to do it consciously and on purpose, basically. So, gotta take a breath. I'm afraid I might not be back on the same path. Okay. Now, that's going to take time, is what I'm getting to, before the new trail is etched and the old trail is covered. Now, let's say something happens. Then there's some emergency we have to go drive to. So we aren't thinking, we're just on autopilot. Then this is what the autopilot needs to do. We need to leave the house with the car keys. We need to walk across the lawn. We need to get in the car. We need to start the car. We need to drive to whatever the emergency is, and we need to take care of it when we get there. So that autopilot kicks in, and nothing else is really important because this ranges on the instinctive survival portion of our brain and our very soul. This is top priority, and when things become top priority, our brain instantly will annihilate other non-important things or things that are less important to that. So we walk out the door in the emergency and we just go across the old path. And the reason for that, even if the new path is worn down better, the old path is familiar, it's safe, we know for sure it gets us to the car, and we have a lot more experience walking down it. And let's not forget, it's also the shortest path, which makes it the most preferred path. Even though it's important to us in our life to walk the second path, in that moment, we won't even think about it and we just run to the car. And that's instinct. That's how instinct winds up to be hardwired. There are just all of these different reasons why the first path seems like the better path, and instinctively we'll go to it. Now, in a scenario to rewire that instinctive hard path, what we have to do in allegory, that's just the situation I'm explaining, we have to, when we get the call for the emergency and we walk outside and we're on the porch and we've got the car keys in our hand, we need some sort of reminder. So when we see the grass of the lawn, we have to be consciously aware that we're on the grass now, and remember, no, we're taking the second path. Now, it seems like this isn't instinctive all of a sudden because now we've made it conscious. We're thinking about it, so how could this be instinctive? The trick that I've figured out is once we're in that instinctive mode, if we start thinking consciously, we still stay in that instinctive mode. And everything that we do reprograms in that instinctive mode, even if we're thinking about it while we're in the instinctive mode. So by running the second path in instinctive mode, once all that's done and it shuts off, that's reprogrammed the instinct, basically. And so it's not just going to be one time. It's not one and done. This is more Manchurian Candidate. Actually, I haven't watched that in so long. Forget Manchurian Candidate. So after repeating this X amount of times, we can actually reprogram our hardwired instincts to do something different. It's the way that we can change to be the people we would rather be. Not because there's anything wrong with who we are, not because society or people or any outside force wants us to or makes us feel like we should. It's deeply rooted in us to be the best versions of ourselves. And so if there's something inside of us that we desire to change, it's good to be able to work towards that. Now, let's see. There was something else. Oh, okay, right, yeah. There is a good living example of this, I find. So let's take the military, for example. If somebody joins the military and their instinct is flight, to run away or protect themselves, instead of fight, which is put your dukes up and punch the other guy, that's not very adaptive for military life. We need soldiers, guys that are going to go in, kick butt, chew bubblegum, and take names, right? So then the training process, that's what the military does. They reprogram that flight response to a fight response. And that is hard etched into our very hard-driven instincts. So that's my premise and my idea, and I've discovered for myself that it works. Now see, that's acceptable though. That rocks. It's just, I haven't been going through this entire talk saying it every fourth word, and that makes me feel better about myself. Not only because I'm presenting more like I want to, it makes me feel better about myself because I've achieved that positive change in myself. And it also gives me something to work for and faith that other things in my life, if I want to change them or improve them, that I can, even if they're just more difficult, you know? Okay, we're at 15 minutes. I want to kind of keep these short, so I might tell you about what I've got going on for the next video, because I've been wanting to do like a kind of a show and tell in every video. I don't know why that came in my mind. Like, I want to kind of hide something back over here that at the end of the video we can talk about or something. Just kind of like popped up in my head. Trying to think of ways to keep this interesting, you know? So what I'm thinking about is my next video, I'm going to talk about THIQs and the benefits of being sober or being in recovery. And that goes for life recovery too. It doesn't just have to be abstinence from drugs and alcohol. It can be any kind of issue in our life that we want to improve on so that we can have better and happier lives. I want to talk about THIQs though in the next video, and I've got these visual aids because when we drink and drug, that over time, these chemicals build up in our brain called THIQs, and they make us feel good because they look like endorphins. And so I'm going to use positive brain chemicals, and endorphins are going to be represented by these blue spectrum colored pencils. And then the THIQs are going to be represented by the red spectrum colored pencils. And so I think that that'll be kind of cool. It's neat because I've talked about this kind of stuff on my Instagram forever. However, now I'm actually able to do like visual demonstrations and stuff, you know, kind of go in depth. All right, friends, thanks for being there. Never give up, never surrender, because you're worth it. And remember, we have inside of us everything we need. Just need to do a little bit of work.